Good evening and welcome to Nightline Africa. We are coming to you live from the English to Africa service of the Voice of America. Thanks for joining us on Peter Clote in Washington, D.C.
The APC was more concerned about the outcome of the June 24, 2023 elections based on what I've just explained to you. Lack of transparency, accountability. It was described as being unfair and not transparent.
Sierra Leone's main opposition leader demands electoral reforms to ensure future polls are credible.
From what we are getting from Nigerians who have indicated interest in participating in this major protests, I don't call it protest, I call it revolt, is going to be a global event that's going to involve Nigerians at home and abroad. That's the diaspora.
Nigerians plan to protest next week over economic hardships they face.
The U.S. wants to convince the Congolese general audience that they are standing with them, that they are paying attention on what's happening in DRC, that they can still do something to push or force the rebel group to stop fighting.
And the U.S. government imposes sanctions on 3 rebel leaders in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Those stories and more coming up on Nightline Africa. In Sierra Leone, the presidential candidate of the main opposition All People's Congress, or APC, says the party is aggrieved over the outcome of the last election. Samura Kamara, who was a former foreign minister, also says there must be electoral reforms to ensure future polls are transparent and credible. His remarks come after a tripartite committee issued a report containing recommended changes to President Julius Maada bill. Political observers say the study appears to have eased political tensions. Former presidential candidate Samura Kamara tells me that his call for re-election remains, although he is willing to meet President Maada bill to resolve concerns over future reforms.
The APC was more concerned about the outcome of the June 24, 2023 elections based on what I've just explained to you. Lack of transparency, accountability. It was described as being unfair and not transparent, and therefore it lacks credibility. So we stated this in our Agreement for National Unity on the preamble. We'll still continue to ask for the publication, the availability of what's called aggregated results, polling station by polling station from the Electoral Commission. And that we also ask for the resignation of the head of the Electoral Commission as well as his senior members in the commission and indeed staff, because we did not find them to be credible. So all of these are in the Agreement for National Unity.
What were your major concerns about what was put out?
What was put out was that there was no consideration with respect to what was described as divergent areas. Divergent areas meaning there was no result on how we together could manage what happened on June 24, 2023 with respect to the announced results, which I rejected and with the party as well, the APC also rejected. So we asked for reconsideration. When the committee report came out, this was left out. It was only put in the agreement as divergent areas. So there was no sort of proposal to move forward with these divergent areas, which had to do especially with the position of the party. And we had our own indicative results when we processed. And this is also that Samura Kamara had 57.15%, and then Bio had around 39 to 40%.
Where do you go from here now that it's apparent that in spite of the dialogue, there are still divergent areas that are less likely to be agreed upon because both parties seem to be far apart on this.
Yes, but I think there is room for convergence over time. What it means is that we, as a sovereign country, this is our own problem as Sierra Leoneans. We must really understand that we have a moral responsibility to satisfy the will of our people. Leadership is to allow the people to govern, the people to rule. Leadership is about allowing democratic principles to really set the pace on how to meet the wishes and expectations of the people.
What do I hear from some of your supporters? That they want the election to be rerun. Is that the APC stand, the main opposition stand, and is that your stance as well?
It is the APC stand because it is part of the report of the tripartite committee. It is there. Even the position paper that was prepared by the All People's Congress Party, the APC, is part of the report. So a manner that satisfies the will of the people.
So talking about reconciliation, have you considered approaching the president to have a dialogue, man-to-man dialogue, with the need to ease political tension, address this lack of convergence view or the anticipated convergence view in order to ease political tension so the country can move on smoothly and that these concerns you've raised will be resolved?
Yes, we have. And I think we're just waiting for the appropriate time where this could be done, where man to man we can sit and then discuss. The point is, how do we manage the expectations of Sierra Leoneans who really did not go to the ballot to vote just because they wanted to vote, but they went there to find a way to express their dissatisfaction with the performance of the government, economically, with the performance of the politics of Sierra Leone. And then there was a disappointment. The way the results were read, that's the problem, the way they are now. So I think we have to have an honest acknowledgement that there was something that went fundamentally wrong.
Samura Kamara, a former foreign minister, was the presidential candidate from the main opposition All People's Congress, or APC. He spoke with me from the Sierra Leonean capital, Freetown.